Hi, welcome to this video about what the Mace Energy Method is all about. I'm very excited to share this because I came across the Mace Energy Method myself at the beginning, sort of around February, March time of 2024, and it absolutely won my heart. It's absolutely the modality I didn't even know I was waiting for. And since it came into my world, I've just loved experiencing it as a client. And now I am loving sharing it with clients for myself because it makes such a difference. It's so reliable, it's so precise, it's so effective. It gets right to the thing that's causing you the problems without having to wait, without having to hope, without having to trust. It just gets to it. So I wanted to share a little bit more about it to give you some understanding of what the Mace Energy Method is and a bit about why it's even required, why we find ourselves in these repeating experiences of negativity. So I think you'll probably agree that you, me, everyone has had some kind of upset in life. Many of them will have happened when we were younger. The simplest things, the most innocent things could have upset us. But at the time, as a little person, that felt like a really big deal. And of course, some people actually experienced awful things as children. And that too, of course, would have felt like a really, really big deal. And so in those moments of upset, we would have felt overwhelmed. We would have felt it was too much, like we couldn't handle it. And that may well be something that's not in your conscious awareness right now. It certainly wasn't for me. But it is what would have happened as a little person experiencing something upsetting. It would have felt big and overwhelming and too much and hard to handle. And in the midst of all of that emotional disturbance, we unknowingly created a negative identity for ourselves. We didn't do it on purpose. Nobody chose it. Nobody consciously said, "Oh, I know, I'm going to create myself a negative identity." It just happened. It was an instantaneous response in the moment to whatever was happening, with a really genuine desire to survive. It looked like creating that negative identity was a survival solution. But the trouble is, we never then discreated it because we didn't know it was even there. We didn't even know it was there. So we couldn't just discreate it. We couldn't just get rid of it. We buried it away, if anything. We hid it. We tried to avoid it because it felt so awful that we didn't want to think that. We didn't want to feel that. And that's why, as we grew up, and you'll have seen as an adult, you developed all sorts of different coping strategies and navigation strategies and avoidance strategies and distraction strategies, anything to stop you from having to feel that again. So one of mine was I'm a failure. And everything I've done in my life has been done to avoid feeling like a failure. All my hard work, all my overachieving, all my striving, all my efforting was to try and prevent me having to feel I'm a failure, because that had been created as an identity when I was very young. And then all my life had become a way to avoid feeling that by trying to be good in the world. Look how capable I am. Look how I'm getting stuff right. Look how I'm doing it the right way. Look what a good girl I'm being. And it's really exhausting. And it doesn't work because all it's doing is layering thoughts and behaviors on top of that negative identity that's sitting in the background, hidden, unknown. Even in fact, once I knew I was afraid of failure, it still didn't get to the negative identity. It still didn't actually unearth or uproot that original negative identity that was created at some point in my childhood. And most modalities can't. So what tends to happen is, as I say, we go through life, we develop coping strategies and avoidance strategies and distraction strategies, and then we find they're not working. So then we often try and find positive strategies, well-being strategies, or self-care, or even spiritual practices as strategies to try and avoid feeling awful. but it still lurks there. That was my experience. It was still lurking there. Even with all the spiritual exploration I'd done, even with all the realizations I'd had, there was still this doubt that permeated my system. There was still this questioning. Am I doing enough? Is this enough? Will they like me for this? Will they approve of me for this? Will they not leave me for this? Will they not reject me for this? Will they stay with me? Will they validate me? And so it becomes obvious that none of the well-being strategies are working either. In fact, a common hallmark is that with any kind of strategy like that, there can be a temporary period of feeling good, a temporary relief, a temporary alleviation of the negativity that we normally experience. And then the negativity comes back again. Then the doubt comes back again. Then the worry comes back again. Then the overwhelm comes back again. Then the critical inner voice comes back again. Then the insecurity comes back again. Whatever the negativity, whatever your favorite flavor of negativity is in your life, then it comes back again. And that's often the point when people look for something else and find the Mace Energy Method. Now, you can, in fact, come to the Mace Energy Method way earlier in your journey and save yourself all the time and effort that I spent trying to get to the root of all that was going on. But if, like me, you have gone through all that effort of trying all these different strategies, fine, then that's what's happened. Fundamentally, when you find the Mace Energy Method, it's because you are ready to get to the heart of what's going on, to get to this root cause of all your problems, which is these negative identities that were unknowingly created when you were younger, and which this Mace Energy Method undoes, discreates, gets rid of, and even does it without you needing to tell anything about the situations in your life. There's no narrative storytelling element to this. There's no having to know the original situation and what happened. There's no telling me as the practitioner anything about your personal circumstances. I don't need to know anything about your situation. I don't need to know anything about your relationships. I don't need to know anything about what's going wrong for you, really. There is a very clear and set process, researched and refined by John Mace and his team over 10 years ago, which has been used effectively over and over and over again to free people from these negative identities. Because rather than just giving temporary relief, these negative identities are discreated, eliminated, deleted, got rid of. Any word you want to use for the fact that it's gone. It doesn't come back. It's not just been temporarily soothed. It's gone. And I am a living example of that. Since discreating my I'm a failure identity, I no longer feel I have to prove myself all the time. I no longer feel I've got to strive and effort and work so many hours in the hope that one day somebody sees that I'm good enough. All that has gone. And it doesn't mean I'm sitting down doing nothing. It doesn't mean I've turned into a lazy blancmange who watches TV the whole time. All it means is, and all it means is the wrong phrase, what it means is, I'm now moving and acting in full alignment with what feels good and right for me. I'm making decisions with so much ease, just simply deciding, responding to what's here right now, without clutter and confusion of, oh, well, what will they think and what will that mean and will that be enough? All of my inner experience feels settled. My whole inner system, all inside of the body, inside the head, it's settled. The disruption is gone. The fear of being caught out is gone. The fear of not being enough and of being proved a failure has gone. And I can tell it's not coming back. I can feel that clarity, that purity, that absence. It's often how it's described. There's an absence. It's gone. And that's why, on the back of engaging with the Mace Energy Method, you then get on and live your life and enjoy your life, free to be you, the real you that's behind the negative identities you've been afraid of for so long. So I thoroughly, thoroughly recommend you check this modality out. I'll put some links in the description below. If you're thinking this is too good to be true, which many people do, because we've been taught to doubt that anything could actually be good and effective and quick and simple, then feel free to do as much research as you like. There's a book called Causism by John, which is the theory behind the modality. Have a read of that. It's a great book, very simple, explains all about the theory behind it all, explains the process in its simplest form. So you get to see what kind of thing we do within the session. Please do research as much as you like. But fundamentally, if you're ready to feel free, if you're so done with the negativity in your life, with never quite making it, with never quite feeling you're there, with never quite feeling good within yourself, then please, please, please consider booking yourself in for your Mace Foundation sessions. I would really love to meet you. Take care, much love.